Cedar Point will be the place to be the next few years, and that's all thanks to the all-new Top Thrill 2. In this video, I will share with you a step-by-step plan for having the best day possible at the point. Because at a park like Cedar Point, getting ahead of the crowds is everything. With must-ride roller coasters like Steel Vengeance, Maverick, Millennium Force, and Top Thrill 2, it's easy to stress about devising a plan to conquer Cedar Point's fantastic coasters while avoiding the longer lines, at least until now. I've been lucky enough to have visited Cedar Point just about every single year since 1993. And it's hard to believe that I was only 10 years old then, and 30 years later, I would be making a video helping you devise the best plan of attack for Cedar Point. Before I get to the good stuff, we must review all the important details to help you with this plan. First, you must factor in rides not opening on time or broken down for maintenance. Also, the weather. Since Cedar Point is located on a peninsula on Lake Erie, it's prone to thunderstorms and high wind, which could obviously alter this plan of attack. Since Cedar Point is going to be experiencing record crowds the next few years, all because of the Top Thrill 2 buzz, I recommend getting the Fastlane Plus add-on to enhance your day in the park. But note, if you do not have an all-season Fastlane with your season pass, then you can only get one ride on Top Thrill 2 with the Fastlane each day. With the all-season Fastlane pass, you can experience Top Thrill 2 as much as you want when you visit the park. And while this plan of attack is designed to save you some money where you might not even need the fast lane, there is no denying that if you do buy it, it will enhance your day. And one last thing, Cedar Point is a massive park, so you want to walk fast. I hate to say it, but leave the slow walkers behind at least for the first hour or so because you have coasters to ride. The golden rule in experiencing Cedar Point, the best way is to get there early. The park does offer early entry, but only if you're staying at a Cedar Point resort or if you have a Prestige Pass or an all-park Gold Pass. TPR tip. If you only have a Cedar Point Gold Pass, you will not be able to experience early entry. Your Gold Pass must have the All-Park add-on to have early entry access. While early entry will definitely help get a jump start on the crowds, it's not necessarily a deal breaker when it comes to this plan of attack. And more on that in a few minutes. But I personally recommend upgrading to the Prestige Pass or adding the All-Park add-on for the Cedar Point Gold Pass. Or simply just stay at one of the Cedar Point resorts. And if you're interested in the benefits of staying at those hotels, then be sure to check out my Cedar Point Hotel Guide video here. The benefits of getting into Cedar Point for early entry are that you're already inside the park a whole hour before it even opens to the general public, and you can head right to the coaster of your choice to line up for it and wait for it to open up at 10 a.m. Even though Top Thrill 2 and Steel Vengeance are not usually part of Cedar Point's early entry, you can at least head towards those rides to get a major jump start on the crowds. So if you are eligible for early entry, use it and get to the entrance gate no later than 8:45 a.m. By doing this, you will get inside the park by 9 a.m. Trust me on this. TPR tip. If you are staying at Hotel Breakers or Lighthouse Point, then you can use the Magnum entrance, making this plan so much easier. If you are not eligible for Cedar Point early entry, I recommend you get to the parking tolls no later than 9:15 in the morning. But here's the best secret. When you drive up to the parking tolls, look for signs for the Cedar Point Shores parking lot. and park there. This will get you to the Magnum gate for 10 a.m., right when this gate opens to all park guests and not just the resort guests. TPR tip. Another reason why I recommend parking at the Cedar Point Shores parking lot is the close proximity to Top Thrill 2 and Still Vengeance. For example, Top Thrill 2 is located over 2,800 feet away from Cedar Point's main entrance, which happens to be about half the distance from the entrance to Still Vengeance. Top Thrill 2 is 1,051 feet from the Magnum entrance, making it a shorter walk. So for this plan of attack, start at ride number 1, Top Thrill 2. If you are in the park for early entry right at 9 a.m. and you line up for Top Thrill 2 as soon as you get into the park, your wait time will be very minimal. If you enter the park after 9 a.m., your wait time for Top Thrill 2 will be slightly longer. But if you get into the park right at 10 a.m., I still advise heading to Top Thrill 2, but remember to walk fast. Again, I know I've said it before, but this is why I recommend parking in the Cedar Point Shores parking lot. TPR tip. Another reason you should consider staying at Breakers or Lighthouse Point is the large number of people who will already be in the park at 9 a.m., enjoying early entry and lining up for Top Thrill 2 before the park even opens. Ride number 2. After you race for the sky and enjoy the 420-foot tall spike, head straight to Still Vengeance. Unfortunately, the distance from the exit of Top Thrill 2 all the way to the entrance of Still Vengeance is over 2,900 feet, so this walk will take you just under 10 minutes or so. Still Vengeance has been the most popular coaster at Cedar Point since it opened in 2018. And even with Top Thrill 2 now open, this hybrid coaster will still offer a very long line. TPR tip. Both Top Thrill 2 and Still Vengeance have a very strict no loose article policy, which means that you have to place all your valuables like your cell phone, wallet, and keys in a locker next to each attraction, or you can use the free lockers right before you go to the metal detectors in each of these coasters' lines. Ride number 3, Maverick. The great news for you is the next attraction on my Cedar Point plan of attack is only 500 feet from the exit of Still Vengeance. By the time you hit Maverick, most of the crowds will be focused on getting in line for Top Thrill 2 and Still Vengeance. I might be the outcast when I say this, but Maverick is my favorite roller coaster at Cedar Point. This intimate blitz coaster delivers in all ways, and it's a must ride. From Maverick, I would then head to ride number 4, which is Millennium Force. And while the trek from Maverick's exit all the way to the entrance of Millie is very long, just over 2,200 feet, at least you get to enjoy walking through the most beautiful area of Cedar Point, and that is the Frontier Trail. Now by the time you get to Millennium Force, expect there to be a minimal line. Usually this line would take less than 30 minutes, which is not bad for the 310-foot tall Giga Coaster. Located 1,600 feet away is ride number 5, Valraven. Enjoy your dive on Cedar Point's dive coaster. This ride usually gets a long line, but if you have followed my plan precisely, the wait time for Valraven should be minimal. The only other coaster that Cedar Point offers that's going to have a long, slow-moving line is the Wild Mouse. TPR tip. To save time waiting in a long line, be sure to ride Raptor and Wild Mouse later in the day. That's because the lines for these coasters are generally very long for the first 5 or 6 hours that Cedar Point is open, especially for Raptor. The following coasters are still popular at Cedar Point, not to mention great rides. But the beautiful thing is that you can usually expect around a 15-minute or less line for these coasters. Cedar Point's only wooden coaster, Blue Streak, the family coaster Cedar Creek Mine Ride, the 3-inversion Corkscrew Coaster, the very underrated Gatekeeper, the classic Aero Racing Coaster Gemini, the one of only 5 suspended coasters left in operation, Iron Dragon, and then of course Magnum XL 200, the world's first true hypercoaster, and Rougarou, which is now a must ride as you go up the lift hill and seeing the spike for Top Thrill 2 right in front of you. Cedar Point's family coasters, Woodstock Express, and Wilderness Run will have longer lines because they run only one train and are located in the park's family areas. So to recap, here's a list of rides that I recommend riding in this order for you to get ahead of the crowds and for you to enjoy the rest of your day at Cedar Point in the best way possible. Start off with Top Thrill 2, then head to Steel Vengeance, followed by Maverick, and then on to Millennium Force, and finishing with Valraven. Then from there, I would just enjoy your time at Cedar Point and keep riding coasters. Learning how to plan your day at Cedar Point is half the equation for having the best day ever at this awesome park. You will find the other half in this video right here, where I share with you the best times to visit based on the crowd levels. So when is your trip to Cedar Point? Be sure to let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and keep riding coasters.